Alright guys, we are back in the garage working on the K-swap fit again. Last video we took out the original engine, transmission, subframe, steering rack, shift cables, shifter bushings, and now we're going to prep the engine bay for the K-series engine. Basically all of this information that I'm going to do right now is part of the instructions that come with the Hasport mount kit for this chassis and engine combination. You can go online and just print it off. They have a PDF file right on their website under the mount kit themselves. If you were going to buy it, there's a little PDF there. So we're just going to cover all of that stuff basically. And starting with that is brake lines and AC lines. Those are the main things that are kind of in the way that you have to adjust and reposition to make the K-series fit. So we're going to start with the brake lines, and here's that. The main big one off of the compressor to the firewall, that will stay with the engine on the compressor. Just undo the quick connect at the firewall and that will come right off. The other little one goes to the firewall to the AC condenser. We already have the condenser out, so that's unhooked. We just have to undo the quick connect and then get that line out of here and removed. It will not fit with the engine in there, the K-series engine in there. Here's that. I'll show you. Connects here. Runs down along the firewall to the AC condenser. There are some clips here on the firewall which I already removed. So essentially you just got to get that one out, unpop it from the two clips, and then that one's done for now. After that, AC is pretty much done at that point. We'll readdress hooking up AC with the K-series engine towards the end of this video, way at the end. It's going to be one of the last things we do. So next, you got to move the brake lines and the ABS pump. I'm ditching the ABS pump because I have a rear disc conversion, so the ABS does not work in the rear anyway, which kills the front ABS. So I'm just ditching it all together. I'm going to replace the ABS pump with a 40/40 proportioning valve, which I kind of have fitted in there right now for test fitting and everything. But the brake lines do have to be moved, massaged a little bit, and the ABS pump has to be moved. So I'll show you that right now. So I have my 40/40 proportioning valve in here already, but this is where the pump normally would be, and you have to move this. You have to move this in, so that because that engine mount sits right here, this is going to be in the way. So we have to move this in, and then along with that, you're going to remove these brackets right here. There's one right here that holds them in, and then another one down here that held them all in. And the way you do that is, you can see, get it good. You got to use a flathead screwdriver and then push on that wedge and then pull on the line at the same time, and they'll all start popping out. Just do them one at a time. Otherwise you'll end up just breaking these clips or maybe bending the line even. So that's how you do those. But then we're just going to start slowly massaging these lines up in to that cubby back there, into this cubby. I don't have good light in here right now, but we got to move all of these lines up into this cubby area here. So they're just going to run along here, and then we're going to dip them up into that little cubby there, in that frame cubby. So you just have to start moving all those, which I'll show you guys in a tripod setup. We'll start doing it and messing with them all. Alright guys, so what I'm doing is, these are the two rear lines right here. I'm going to leave those, and these are the two feeding from the master cylinder, and then one front line that runs back over to the driver's side. I'm actually going to put the top line on the very top, move this one up, click it in, move this one up, click it in. This one will just rest on top, just like that. I'm going to work my way over and start moving these lines up into that corner. Those two are not bad at all. These three. This is the front brake line that goes to this wheel over here. This line has to stay right where it is. Just move these other ones. See that, guys? If you just unhook all this stuff over here first, then all of this can move. You can pivot the whole thing and move it. So all of those lines are up in here now. They're all back into that corner. Now you're just going to be pushing and bending, not crazy, but you're just going to be putting pressure on everything just to try to get it to move where you want it to go. You don't want to kink anything. You don't want to do anything like that. You just want to get it moved over where you need it to go. You don't want to do anything too crazy. Just kind of push, massage, and bend everything as much as you can. Keep everything. Point everything in that direction. Essentially, guys, that is it. You just gotta kind of keep messing with them and flopping things over spots, whichever's gonna fit nice and route well. See that, guys? You can use these clips here and hold everything and kind of keep everything aligned good. That's working out pretty good. That one doesn't really want to stay. Might just skip that one. Nice. All right, guys. So you moved your brake lines, got them bent out of the way. Now you're up at your pump. Now this is the big thing. It has to be moved out of the way to clear the engine mount. And I'm going to show you guys here on my brother's car. This is the mount here, and here's the pump. You can see how close it is in there. It's super close. You just have to push it as far into this headlight pocket as you can. And you have to use this. We made a little mount here. We made a little mount with the existing bracket down there. You can kind of see it. But basically, you just got to push it all the way over into that headlight pocket as far as you can go to keep it away from this engine mount right there. Once you move the ABS pump out of the way, the wiring for the ABS pump has to be rerouted or moved around to clear the belt. So here, I'll show you my brother's car. All right, as you can see, here's the pulley, the belt. You got your pump and your wiring right here. You can see it runs down. Normally, it routed right through here. You can see there's like zero room to put wiring through where that belt goes. So what we did on my brother's car was we took the headlight out and we hammered down this metal right here and just made room for the wiring to get routed through. But it's really tight and it's still pinching it, and we're just not happy with it. So we're looking at other options, and right now we're going to try to notch the frame on the inside right here. We're going to try it on my car this time. I'll go ahead and show you. So what we're going to do is notch this portion right here. We're going to come over right here and come up and just fade away into nothing right here. We're just going to fade into nothing, cut along this edge, and then just notch over right here as well. And just take out this whole piece right here. So the wiring normally runs right here. We're just going to push it farther over. What we did on my brother's car, I was just telling you guys, is we hammered this down and routed it around this way, which requires you to unbolt all of this wiring and pull it through, reroute it over, which it does work. Obviously, we've done it, but you could either notch this portion too or notch this part here. We're going to try to do this one now and see what happens. This is the kind of stuff that's not in the Hasport instructions. This is just stuff we've run across from doing it a couple times, so just passing it along. So we're going to go and cut the subframe this time and try it this way, see what happens. Alright guys, we are in the engine bay of the fit. I'm going to show you this next spot here on the driver's side frame rail that has to be notched out for the transmission to clear. Here's the spot down here. So what you got to do is you're supposed to measure 10.5 inches from the bulkhead, which is this right here. So we got 10.5. There's my mark right there. Right from the bulkhead. This is the bulkhead right there. 10.5. So there's our mark. And you have to do like a 2.5 inch to 3 inch hole saw, I think. 2.5 inch hole saw. Basically what you're doing is you want to put like a, let me get my marker. You want to do like a circle right here basically. You want to notch this area out because there's a spot on the transmission that pokes in right there. And I think it's a 2.5 inch hole saw, or you could square it. You want you to reinforce it when you're done. You don't want to get into this though. That's a welded nut behind there. You don't want to get into that. And then once that's done, you got to put the mount back on, mark it, pull the mount off, and notch that mount too, so it clears the same spot, so you have the same clearing. So what I'm going to do now is just, I have my center line, my 10.5. So I'm going to do 1.25 inches and mark where it will be. So there's our 2.5 inch span from our 10.5 inch mark. So now this brake clean can is pretty much 2.5, the same as my hole saw. So I'm just going to use this as a guide here to kind of mark this out. Now I don't want to get into this welded nut here. Don't want to get into that. So I'm going to try to stay below it. Stay below it here. Can always trim a little more up if I need it. Just going to do something like this here. Can always take more out later. Now, because this is you only have this little bit now, you can't use your normal drill because it goes underneath. So I'm using it without it. I'm going to see how it goes. I may end up just using a die grinder and going in that way. So we're going to try this first. Alright guys, so new plan. I'm gonna try to use the screw, or the drill portion, and I'm just gonna center punch as low as I can because I don't want to get into that nut. I want to keep it as low as I can. Alright guys, we're going for round 2. Got a new hole saw. The one I had was no good. And I got a plug-in drill instead of a cordless drill. So hopefully we can burn through this thing now and keep going. Alright. Alright guys, we just got done welding in some braces for the frame rail that we notched. We now have the transmission mount, the OE mount that you'll use with the Hasport mounts, mounted back on the frame rail. And we just have to notch that now to match the frame that we notched. Let's check it out. Alright guys, you can see here we notched the frame rail, and then we added in 2 little braces. We may do some back plates later on, but we have the factory mount here, transmission mount, and you can see this overhangs right here. So what we did on the last one is we notched just this part right here that points out towards us and left the mounting plate all the way around the mounting hole, because we want to keep that as strong as possible. So we just notched this horizontal or part that's pointing out at us. So you just notch that off, and then that transmission mount and the frame rail are good to go. We're going to modify the factory engine mounts, and we're going to start with the passenger side mount. It's the pillow mount. There's a small nub that has to be ground down so that the new Hasport mount that adapts to that will sit flush. And I'll show you guys that here. So here's the factory mount, and then right here on this top part there's this little nub. It's that little nub right there. Now we have to grind that flat so that the Hasport mount will sit flush. Because this mount here, this Hasport mount, it's going to slide on to here and go down. And with that nub there, it'll never sit flat. So we just got to grind that little nub off right there, and then this mount is good to go for that side. Other than that, there's nothing else I think we need to cover at this point. I think we're doing good. Please, still, if you have any questions, anything you want us to go back over or make sure we covered it correctly, drop a comment, let us know, send me a message, anything. Definitely want to do this right and get you guys the right information. It's easy to jump over, skip something when we're doing so much stuff at once and trying to document it all at the same time. But I'm super pumped on doing it, and I cannot wait to get this thing going. It's going good so far. I can't really complain. Everything's coming apart. Haven't really broke any bolts or anything yet. So, all right guys, keep you updated.